If you live in New York City right now and you want to protect yourself from HIV using this newest twice-a-year injection, it will cost you over $40,000 a year. But if you live in South Africa or any other African country participating in the first run, that exact same drug is rolling out for less than $40. When Western media reports on this, they use language that make it sound like Africa and the global South are being handed a massive charitable discount, almost making us sound entitled. But here's the uncomfortable truth that American Big Pharma doesn't want to talk about. They did not invent this drug in a vacuum in California. They prove it worked by using our bodies. Before we get into how the global South just broke a pharmaceutical monopoly, let me introduce myself. My name is Chika, and look, I sat down with my YouTube analytics and honestly, it stopped in my tracks. 96% of the people who watched my videos in the last 28 days are not subscribed to this channel, and it breaks my heart. So please, can we do something about it? I make interesting videos that talk about African issues right here on this platform. So if that's the sort of thing that excites you, please consider subscribing and sharing with somebody whom you think will love videos like this. Now let's get back to the conversation. The clinical trials for Lenacapavir were called the Purpose 1 and Purpose 2 trials. Where do you think they ran these trials? I'll tell you. Purpose 1 was conducted primarily in South Africa and Uganda, testing the drug on adolescent girls and young African women. Purpose 2 expanded to South America and Asia, running trials in Brazil, Argentina, Peru, Mexico, and Thailand. The Western pharmaceutical model has always relied on the global South having readily available bodies for clinical experiments. Our women, our youth, and our marginalized communities put their health on the line to prove that this drug had a 100% efficacy rate. We absorbed the clinical risk to give them their multi-billion-dollar patents. So when African nations demand access to this drug, we're not asking a favor. We're demanding restitution for the data our bodies provided. But Gilead, the American manufacturer, still tried to slap a $40,000 price tag on it, and they would have gotten away with it if not for researchers at the University of Liverpool. Dr. Andrew Hill and a team of researchers did something incredible. They reverse engineered the math. They looked at the active pharmaceutical ingredients and the routes of synthesis. Their analysis, which was presented globally, proved that the drug is incredibly cheap to mass produce, factoring in formulation, vials, and even a 30% profit margin. The University of Liverpool proved that generic Lenacapavir could be manufactured and sold for between $25 and $46 per person per year. The $40,000 price tag in the US isn't the cost of the medicine. It is pure corporate extortion. The $40 price tag isn't a discount for Africa. It is what the medicine actually costs to make. Armed with the mathematical proof from Liverpool and the clinical proof from our own people, African institutions fought back. This is where Wits RHI, a world-class research institute at the University of Witwatersrand in South Africa, stepped in. Wits RHI didn't just run the Purpose 1 clinical trials and walk away. Led by brilliant African scientists, they weaponized their data. Alongside global health coalitions like UNITAID, they helped broker a landmark agreement. Because the global South threatened to use international trade laws to override patents if necessary, American Big Pharma was forced to the negotiating table. They agreed to voluntary licenses, allowing genetic manufacturers to produce the drug for 120 low and middle income countries at that $40 price point. Wits RHI is now leading the real world rollout in South Africa. They ensured that the very communities who served as test subjects are the first ones to get the life-saving protection. So I think it is at this point that we say thank you to Wits RHI. For decades, the dynamic has been identical. The West uses the global South to test their innovations and then prizes us out of the cure. But this story breaks the wheel. It proves that when we combine our clinical leverage, hard mathematical data, and institutions like Wits RHI that refuse to back down, we don't have to accept the scraps of Western charity. We dictated the terms of our own survival. And if African leaders can take this exact same strategy and apply it to our minerals, our tech, and our trade, the entire global power structure flips. But I want to know what you think. Is this the blueprint for how the global South should negotiate all our global deals? I'll be waiting in the comments below. Let me know. My name is Chika. Stay bullish in Africa, and I'll see you in the next one.